Kerch under fire. Naval drone strikes and fire reported. Ukrainians loses during offensive in Kursk region, Syrsky reveal. And how partisans sabotage railway line from Moscow to Kursk region. The latest news next. In the morning in the occupied Crimea, namely in Kerch, the sounds of strikes are heard. Residents write about the attack of naval drones trying to destroy Russian troops, according to the Crimean Wind Telegram channel. In Kerch, there are strikes in the area of the Zatoka shipyard, and some kind of fire is being carried away in Arshintsevo. The message says at 6:41 a.m. Kyiv time. A little later, the channel citing its subscribers clarifies that Ukrainian naval drones are making a breakthrough in the Kerch Strait. In turn, the Russian military is trying to destroy them from the sea, shore and air. Some other Telegram channels also report that the Crimean bridge is blocked amid the attack. During the Ukrainian forces' offensive in the Kursk region, the enemy had to defend in uncomfortable conditions. Ukrainians' losses were actually half of those suffered by the Russians. The commander-in-chief of the Ukrainian armed forces, Alexander Syrsky, says in the documentary film Operation Kursk how it really was from the first-hand accounts.
The Russians, felt what we feel. That is, they had to defend their own territory and, moreover, in conditions that were not comfortable for them. Here, during the offensive actions, our losses were actually half of those who were defending.
Ukrainian partisans carried out a sabotage operation on a railway in Moscow, which connects the Russian capital with the Kursk region, the attached partisan movement reports.
An agent successfully set fire to a relay cabinet near the settlement of Chekhov, Moscow region, on a key railway line connecting Moscow with the Kursk region.
Due to the sabotage, the partisans claimed that the occupiers' logistics were disrupted. Atesh specified the delivery of fuel and military equipment intended for supplying Russian troops at the front line has been delayed. Analysts at the Institute for the Study of War indicate that Russia lost about 53 soldiers per square kilometer as its forces advanced through Ukrainian territory in the autumn of 2024, reported by ISW.
The Kremlin is continuing to suffer significant manpower losses to make tactical advances in western Donetsk Oblast at the expense of Russia's ongoing war effort and the medium-term viability of the Russian economy.
About details, analysts highlight that the UK Ministry of Defense, MOD, referencing data from the Ukrainian General Staff, reported on the 5th of December that Russia's average daily personnel losses in November 2024 reached a new historical peak, with 1,523 killed per day. The UK MOD reported that for the first time, on the 28th of November 2024, Russian forces suffered over 2,000 casualties in a single day. Russian forces are estimated to have incurred a total of 44,690 casualties in November 2024. The UK Ministry of Defense highlighted that this marked the 5th consecutive month of rising Russian casualties. Based on geolocation data, Russian forces advanced at a rate of around 27.96 square kilometers per day in November 2024, capturing 839 square kilometers in Ukraine and Russia's Kursk region, where Ukraine is conducting an operation. ISW previously reported that Russian forces suffered higher casualties in September and October 2024, with total losses amounting to approximately 80,110 troops. In exchange, they seized around 1,517 square kilometers of territory in Ukraine and Kursk region during those 2 months. Those ISW analysts estimate that Russia lost approximately 125,800 troops during the period of intense offensive operations in September, October and November 2024, while seizing 2,356 square kilometers of land. According to the ISW, this means that there were approximately 53 Russian military deaths for every square kilometers of Ukrainian territory seized during that time.
Russia's constrained labor pool is likely unable to sustain this increased casualty rate in the medium term, and continued Western military support for Ukraine remains vital to Ukraine's ability to inflict losses at this rate.
The Kremlin's commitment to maintaining the theater-wide initiative in Ukraine and continuing to advance in eastern Ukraine has created dueling demands on Russia's labor pool. Additional efforts to increase Russian force generation rates risk further destabilizing the Russian economy as Russia continues to grapple with domestic labor shortages and rising inflation. About details, analysts point out that the Russians can either fight in Ukraine or work for Russia's domestic economy, but they cannot do both simultaneously.
The Kremlin is unlikely to sufficiently meet its needs for labor in both the military and Russia's domestic economy in the near future, and additional months of intensified offensive operations in Ukraine in 2025 and beyond will only further compound Russian resourcing dilemmas.
Analysts also emphasize that US President Joe Biden's pledge to provide the remaining available US aid to Ukraine, along with the continued flow of regular Western military support, will be crucial for Ukraine's ability to keep defending itself against Russian offensive actions and inflicting unsustainable losses on Russian forces in 2025. The White House under President Joe Biden has developed its latest strategy to support Ukraine. It includes an avalanche of military assistance and sweeping new sanctions against Russia, The Guardian reports. According to media sources, on Thursday, Biden's national security advisor, Jake Sullivan, met with Andriy Yermak, head of the presidential office of Ukraine. Their meeting lasted over an hour. Following the meeting, Biden's senior advisor promised that by mid-January 2025, the US would provide Ukraine with hundreds of thousands of additional artillery shells, missiles, and armored vehicles. In addition, the US has pledged to assist Ukraine in its personnel matters, offering to train new soldiers at facilities outside Ukrainian territory. This coincides with an almost finalized agreement to allocate $20 billion in credit funds, which will be repaid using frozen Russian assets. The Guardian adds that the US is tying this to a series of new sanctions expected to be introduced in the coming weeks, aimed at hindering Russia's ability to continue military actions and strengthening Ukraine's position at the negotiation table. These negotiations could lay the groundwork for future settlement. This latest move by the White House comes just over a month before Donald Trump's inauguration, after which the US may present an entirely new strategy for a complete ceasefire. Today, on December 6, Ukraine celebrates Armed Forces Day. It is Ukrainian servicemen who have become the first and true guarantor of the security of our country, President Volodymyr Zelensky says. According to the president, there are two dates in Ukrainian history that are side by side on the calendar, but have different flavors and two different wisdoms that have been learned by our people: the signing of the Budapest Memorandum, December 5, and the Day of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, December 6. He adds, "Today we understand for sure that the Armed Forces of Ukraine are the real, first, most effective, most reliable guarantor of our security." That's all for today. Thanks for watching this video. Like and subscribe.